Hi, I'm Caroline, canine behaviorist at Good Doggy. So I want to tell you 5 things you should know about attention-seeking behavior before you go and start trying to fix this in your own dog. If you're struggling with attention-seeking behavior, you are not alone. This is a massive problem for lots and lots of people. And there's plenty of advice on the internet that will tell you how to fix it, but it misses stuff out. So these are the things I think you should know before you start. So the first thing we should talk about is actually what counts as attention. When your dog's trying to get attention from you, what exactly is it that he wants you to do? So we know the obvious ones. Attention is looking at your dog, talking to them, touching them, petting them, but also there are many others. So maybe getting out of your chair and chasing him, maybe throwing a toy, pushing him away, grabbing at him, touching him, any kind of interaction that you have with him, even getting up and trying to chase him around the house to get your stuff back, that kind of stuff. All of that is attention. So it's not just looking at him, talking to him and touching. There's lots of other ways that you are going to give him your attention. So what exactly is attention-seeking behavior? Again, we've got some obvious ones. Jumping up is an obvious attention-seeking behavior. We've all met dogs that jump up at us, especially when we come in through the front door. It's a really exciting time. Sometimes dogs might try and climb on your lap. Maybe they paw at you. Maybe they grab your clothes and try to get you to look at them that way. But there's loads of others as well. In fact, any behavior that your dog does that gets you to give them the attention we discussed in the first section is classified as attention-seeking behavior. So this could be breaking known rules, going into rooms that he's not supposed to be in. It could be humping. It could be bringing toys to you. It could be barking or whining, or maybe he's refusing to do something. Perhaps he's refusing to walk when you want to take him out for a walk. Maybe he's refusing to let you put his harness on. Perhaps he's not letting you take him somewhere, bring him in from the garden. Maybe he's refusing to eat his food. Perhaps he's trying to chew on something. He might even be pretending that he needs to go to the toilet. When puppies are very young, they very quickly learn that when they do that little circling behavior in the middle of our floor, we get out of our chair and we quickly rush them out into the garden. All of these things are attention-seeking behaviors, and probably a million more. Third thing you should know about attention-seeking behavior is all of those behaviors that we just talked about, and all of the others that you're probably thinking of right now, are not a coincidence. Your dog specifically chose those behaviors on purpose. Lots of people ask me, why does he bark like that? Because it knows he hurts me. Why does he do that when he knows it makes me cross? The thing is that what your dog did when he first came to live with you, whether it was a puppy or whether it was a rescue dog or whatever it was, when he came to live with you, he practiced loads of stuff. He's touched everything in your living room. He's looked at everything. He's come over to you. He's tried things. He's sat in front of you. He's gazed up at you. He's done all possible number of behaviors. And most of them will have been ignored. So when your puppy has come and sat beside you and just looked up at you, you may not have looked at that. But when he scraped at your leg, that got you to look at him. When he circled in the floor, you got up and took him out to the toilet. When he sat by the back door, nothing happened. So he's tried so many different things, but so many of them have been ignored. And I see this happening an awful lot with attention-seeking dogs. They do loads of really lovely things all day long, and none of them get them the attention they want until they start trying to do these negative behaviors. And these are the ones that we want to stop. These are the ones we don't like, but they work so well. And this is the reason why our dogs are using them. You know, they tried everything. These are the ones that won every single time. They're not daft. They figured this out. They've got nothing better to do than sit around and work out what works and what doesn't. So these are the behaviors that they have settled on that achieve their goals the best. So the fourth thing you need to know about attention-seeking behavior is that it is rewarding, but it's not doubly rewarding. So when we want to start working on solving attention-seeking behavior, what we need to do is we need to find a similar behavior that can achieve the same goal. Your dog's goal, whenever he starts one of these behaviors, is to get you to look at him or talk to him or chase him or whatever. So we need to teach him a better way of doing that. So all that stuff that we've already ignored, that he's already shrugged off and said, that doesn't work, no point in doing that. We need to go back to that list and we need to watch him. What other kinds of things does he quite like to do? Maybe you have a special toy that is the go-to toy that you will always play with him with. So we can distract him from jumping up, grabbing at your clothes, chasing your feet, hunting you on the ground almost, you know, all those kind of things. Let's get him a new toy, a raggy toy, or, you know, a squeaky toy, or something that he loves the most. And if he wants to get you to play, that's the go-to toy. If he wants you to touch him and pet him and talk to him, maybe he's good at sitting. Let's work with that. You know, so when people come in the front door, we're going to teach him to sit to get attention rather than jumping up to get attention. So the goal remains the same. He's always going to get the attention that he needs. It's just we're finding him a new, better path in order to get it. But as I said, it's very rewarding to get the attention that he wants. That's his goal. But I said it's not doubly rewarding, and we can make it extra rewarding to do the stuff that you would rather. So once we've decided what our go-to behavior is that we are going to work on, you will not only respond to him in the way he wants when he does his thing, but also he's going to get loads of praise. So he's going to get double attention. We can give him treats as well if we'll take them, you know, and we can make it extra good. So when he's jumping up at you and you just look down at him and go, Barney, stop it, and you push him away, there's some reward in that. He got your attention, but it wasn't great. What if Barney came and sat in front of you, and instead of you going, Barney, stop it, and you push him away, you go, yay, Barney, I love you, you're my best boy, and you go down to him on the floor and you play with him and talk to him. That's way better than what he was getting when he was jumping up at you. So this kind of choice of behaviors now is becoming very obvious to him. This first behavior is not great, but works. The second behavior is spot on. That's exactly what he wanted, and more than that even. So what we're trying to do is offer him lots and lots of choices organically. So when you start trying to work on attention-seeking behavior, first of all, choose your go-to. What's going to be the behavior that he can depend on, will get your attention every single time, no matter what. And when you decide this, it has to be no matter what. Even if you're just tired in the evening and you've come in from work and he brings you your special toy, the toy that you decided was going to be the one, if he brings that to you, you must play with him. If he comes and sits in front of you, you must hug him and talk to him. Because as soon as you don't, that behavior becomes not predictable. It means he can't depend on it. So he's going to revert to the one that he chose, because that worked better. He chose that one for a good reason, because it worked better for him and it was more consistent. So once you've decided this, you be consistent. You always respond to him in the way that you promise yourself you will. And very, very quickly, he will realize that this is a better way. It only takes you to ignore him one time before he goes back to his old way. This also is not going to just be a quick, you know, we've done it this way, then we've done it this way, and forever now he's always going to choose the new one. He's going to repeat this over and over again. The way that dogs learn is through trial and error. So the first thing they have to do is try stuff. When they find stuff that works for them, then they have to test it. They have to make sure that it's going to work consistently for them, which is why we don't ever break that rule in the first place. So the behavior becomes very consistent, it becomes very predictable. And once your dog can depend on you and will have expectations that you will always do the same thing, that's when he'll drop his old behavior and the new one will start to become a default behavior. That will become his habit. But until it's a habit, until he's practiced this and tested it over and over again, until it becomes that habit, the backup behavior is always there. He'll always be thinking, if this doesn't work, I know what to do instead. So this is not a 5-minute job. You're not going to repeat this a few times and think this is going to be brilliant, because it will take longer than that. And often that's why these things appear to not work, because we put a little bit of effort into it. We think we've won very quickly. Our dog seems to be getting it, but he's not getting it. He's just testing it at that stage. And then when we revert back to our old behavior, thinking that we've won, he then reverts back to his old behavior, because he's like, that was a very weird thing that we just did there for a day or two. And he goes back to what works for him. So finally, once we've established what exactly he's trying to get you to do, how he's trying to get you to do it, and we've created an alternative for him, then you can start ignoring the old behavior, because we want to make this new behavior look really good. And we've added extra kind of rewards and loads more attention and much more positive attention. So now that's starting to look much more favorable, but we can devalue the old behavior as well. So we're going to try and ignore that. Again, it makes the other one look much, much better. Now, if you go on the internet, the only advice you'll get is ignore the old behavior. And that just leaves them in this kind of free fall thing. So you have to go for step 4. You have to give them an alternative, and you have to start with the alternative, so that when you start ignoring it, he already knows what is going to be better for him and what's going to work better. So the final step now is just to devalue his old choice of behavior by ignoring that. But don't ignore anything more than that, just that behavior. As soon as he stops doing the thing that you don't want him, if he's jumping up at you or barking at you, as soon as he stops, you stop ignoring him. Otherwise, you might end up with a dog that is really struggling to know where he is in your pack and in your life. He wants to know that you're there for him. So it's only that specific behavior that you're ignoring. After that, as soon as he stops, you just go back to talking to him again. I see lots of dogs that have been ignored for, 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 20 minutes because they did jumping up once, when they come in through the front door. And that's too long. We want to get back to normal behavior very, very quickly. So it's very clear about exactly what went wrong. When you elongate that ignoring period as well, it really just doesn't help him to know what was the problem behavior. If he jumps up and you ignore him for jumping up, and then you're still ignoring him 10 minutes later, then he won't really understand exactly what the problem was. So that actually makes your training less effective and not more effective. If you immediately start to relax and just carry on with your life, as soon as he stops jumping up, then he'll go, okay, I get it. The jumping up got you to turn your back on me. And as soon as I stopped jumping up, you turn back. So that makes it very obvious exactly what the problem was. So that will speed your training up as well. It really doesn't help when you do long periods of ignoring. And the internet might tell you to do that as well. It might say that if he does something, if he barks at you, then you should go out the room and you should ignore him for 20 minutes. There's no value to that. He doesn't understand that at all. And it just really blurs what's gone wrong. In fact, he might just think you've gone out to go to the toilet or gone to cook tea. So he might not even really realise exactly why you've gone. So very, very quickly, get your consistent behaviour. As soon as he jumps up, you turn. As soon as he stops jumping up, you go back to where you were. And this balances up our equation quite nicely. So on one side, we have pushed that old behaviour down and make it less important. And this new behaviour is now elevated and it's really, really important. So it's not rocket science. He's absolutely going to choose your new behaviour. See you next time.